Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. Today I've got this really fun trifold card for you. Isn't that cool? It's 4 inches by 5.5 when it's all folded. So as long as you keep the embellishments and the scene inside pretty flat, it'll fit into a standard envelope. It's a really cool, fun card. Let me show you the one that inspired this. This is from my team swap. This was from a kitchenette, one of my team members. We swap cards every time there's a new catalog release. This is Rebecca's card. And I love my team. They just inspire me every single day. So I learned this fold from Rebecca. This is the inspiring card. And then I made this card for the Kitchen Table Stamper Inspiration Challenge. Today in the Craft Social, or yesterday in the Craft Social, I posted the color combination challenge. Pumpkin pie, basic gray, Bermuda Bay, and this is my card for the challenge. I hope you'll come along and play too. All right, let's start with our little penguins here. Now, I have 4 penguins on my card, but I'm not going to make all 4 on video. So by the magic of television, here's 3. Let's make our 4th little buddy. I'm going to start with my Stamparatus and some Memento Tuxedo black ink. I've got my little penguin body already on the plate. My magnet's very far apart, but we're going to need them. And a scrap of basic white cardstock. So we're going to line up our penguin so that he could be stamped right at the top of our scrap here. And then when we've got good placement, we'll magnet the paper down because we want to get a really good dark black impression. So we're going to take our magnets now, very carefully, one at a time. We're going to put one down at the bottom of the paper. Then we're going to lift and put one at the top of the paper. Then make sure that we're not impeding our stamping in any way. Now let's ink up our penguin. I'm going to take my penguin builder punch, put it underneath my Stamparatus. That gives me some resistance. And then my Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm going to ink up this little dude, nice and solid. And we're going to stamp. And then we're going to get a black image. But we want a flawless, dark black image for our little penguins. So we're going to ink them again, and then we're going to stamp them again. So there's our guy. Extra black, love him. Slide the magnets away from each other and take out our penguin. Got a sheet of the small grid paper that fits here, and I'm going to put that in between the stamp and the mat. That way my mat doesn't get ink on it. I'm not ready to clean this yet. Got another video to do with this guy. And then let's bring this guy in, punch him out. I didn't even show you my Penguin Place stamp set that this guy comes from. That's all right. We'll get there in just 1 minute. All right, so next we need some pumpkin pie ink. And then we need the beak and the feet. These stamps are from the Penguin Place stamp set. You can bundle it with the Penguin Builder Punch and save 10% when you buy these items together. This is a 28-piece photopolymer stamp set. So much fun. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat. And then on this scrap that we had for the penguin, we're going to stamp 2 little feet, but we want to make sure that we stamp them so that the orientation is right for punching. See, we can bring that in and punch. And we're going to do the same thing on the other corner here. Then our little penguin here needs a beak. Stamp his face on. Cutie. I'm going to set this guy aside for just a second. I've got a scrap of Bermuda Bay cardstock here. I'm going to get my Bermuda Bay ink pad. Now you notice my penguins, for a little variety, have Bermuda Bay hats and scarves or Coastal Cabana hats and scarves. So I'm just going to do the Bermuda Bay version here for this video. I'm going to stamp Bermuda Bay on Bermuda Bay for his scarf and hat. And while we have our Stampin' Pierce mat And we're stamping. Let's do the greetings for our card. So I have 3 pieces of white cardstock. These are 3/8 of an inch by 3.5. And we're going to use Memento for our greetings. Our outside greeting says, "To the coolest friend ever." It's right of center, so let's do the first greeting. Oh, pretty far to the right. We're going to add that little dovetail, so give yourself a little space. "To the coolest friend ever." There's outside your card. And then in our second panel, it says, "I like you a lot'll." So we're going to do that one. That one will go pretty well to the right of center here also. And then our last greeting says, "It's like a little except a lot." Isn't that cute? "To the coolest friend ever. I like you a lot'll." It's like a little except a lot. And that one's got to go just a little bit from the edge so that when we close the card, we don't have part of a word sticking out. So just keep in mind that placement. We also need enough room on this side for that little orange heart. So placement on this one is about the trickiest. It's going to be just a little bit right of center. All right, now we can clear away that ink pad and get to punching. Got my little penguin builder. Let's punch the feet. I do wish that the penguin builder punch had a punch for the little accessories, the hat, the scarf. There's a little gift bag and a balloon. It would have been fun if it had a 2-punch builder set, one with the penguin and one with its accessories. But there is no punch for the hat and scarf. So we're gonna have to get our scissors and do a little fussy cutting. I'm gonna cut first out of the scrap, get rid of the excess, and then just cut around, leaving a tiny little Bermuda Bay border. All right, there's our hat and scarf. We're going to punch the little dovetail ends on our greetings. This is the tailored tag punch. I love this for these little dovetails. All right, there's our banners. Well, we're punching. We're gonna punch a couple trees. I did 2, punched them and embossed them ahead of time. We'll just do one for the video. Got my pine tree punch and some basic gray cardstock. Punch one of those dudes. All right, I think we're done punching. So let's glue. Got my multi-purpose liquid glue here, and I'm gonna add a little dot on the little feet. And I'm going to just kiss the glue so that both feet have a little bit. A little bit goes a very long way here. A little bit on the scarf. And a dab on the hat, just on the very edge, lower than low on the brim. I'll pop it on with a little bit of an angle. So cute. All right, we're gonna let these guys chill out over here. This guy's gonna dry. And I'm going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to put some of this great texture on our tree. Got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. Let me crank this out. We're going to emboss with the greenery folder. The greenery folder is one of the little minis. It's a 2-pack set. We're going to use the one that's got kind of the chevron. It almost looks like knit to me, so that's what appealed to me. And I want it to deboss, so I'm going to line up my pattern, pop my little tree in. Now the thing is with this, you could do all 3 trees at one time. So this card, we're going to put 3 on top of 1, our folder on top of 3, and give our tree a crank. And there it is, gorgeous with the deboss pattern. Now, I'm going to set this aside with our other tree. Let's bring our card base in next. This is 5.5 by 11 basic gray. We're going to pop it in the Simply Score tool, and score on the 11-inch side at 3.5 and 7. So simple. I think the only small downside about this fold is that you only get one card per 8.5 by 11 sheet, but that's okay. It's just such a cool and fun little greeting, and it stands so beautifully for display. That's something that'll sit on somebody's mantle or desk or on the bookshelf. It's just a beautiful piece of art. All right, we're gonna do our designer series paper panels. I love this designer series paper. It's really kind of modern. It's called Peaceful Place 12 by 12. Designer series paper is a specialty paper. Let's see if I can show you the other patterns without making too much of a mess. So we are using this beautiful kind of woolly looking gray felt, and it's got the snowflakes on the other side, and then this one with the hashtag stripes or hash mark stripes. It's got the silver trees on the back, and look at this one with the black and silver trees. That one's got a gray tree pattern. I love this one. I almost used this one, but it ended up being a little bit too light with the white stitch scallops on it. And then here's a wood grain with silver, more trees. This one would be great with the big cat stamp set, and then little cabins. And there's those black trees again. All right, so those are the patterns. Really, really cool paper. Let's adhere one of these designer series paper pieces to each panel. These are all 5 1/4. All right, this is 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. The next one, 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then the last one is 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. Pretty good, right? I love the cozy flannel feeling and the snowflakes. And there's your card. Now inside, I did some die cutting ahead of time. These are basic white. They are cut second largest from the Stitch So Sweetly die set. Got 3 from basic white. And I got 6 of these little stitched rectangles. So it's confession time. This is L. It's somewhere in the small end of the stitched rectangles, about 1 11/16 by 1 1/4 from the stitched rectangle dies. But this die makes a great window. And these are the windows from the snail mail to go glass. So this is kind of a Franken card. I've got 6 of them, and they were from the scrap bag. And that's how this idea came to be. And then lastly, I've got 3 pumpkin pie hearts. These are cut from pumpkin pie scraps using Jackie's Birds and More dies. All right, let's go ahead and glue down our base layers, which are these 3 and then the 6 rectangles. We're gonna do them so that they're kind of toggled up and down, right and left, see? And we can just glue those down with multi-purpose liquid glue. They're kind of the base that our scene sits on. It's kind of framed, you see. So we'll go tip to the right, and then higher and tipped to the left, and then a little bit lower and tipped to the right. And then next up, as we're building our scenes, are our little rectangle blocks. These will make a nice little frame for our cute little greetings. We'll glue those on with liquid glue. Make sure nothing crosses any of the folds, okay? Everything's got to stay in its own little panel. All right, there's our frames for our little scenes. Pretty cute, aren't they? All right, next up, we've got our penguin for the front. And he's going to get some dimensionals. We're going to embellish with these gorgeous holographic star cutouts. They're called Wonderful Snowflakes. You can find these embellishments in the holiday catalog. They're these gorgeous little laser cut holographic embellishments, and you just pop them right out. We need 3, 1 for each panel. All right, 1 for each panel. Now let's go ahead and adhere our snowflakes. And you'll see that I adhered them up on the end panels and down on the center panel. And I think the best way to do it is add a bit of glue just right behind the center. Make sure none of the little arms go past the fold. And our last one. We're building a scene here. Let's start with our first greeting to the coolest friend ever. I've got some black and white gingham ribbon. I'm going to take my gingham ribbon and I'm going to fold a loop and then fold back a loop. Then I'm going to cut away from the spool. Now I'm going to use some glue dots here because we're going to make these little loops kind of look like a bow without the bulk of a center knot. So I've got my mini glue dots, and I take your pick tool and we're going to grab a mini glue dot and set it right on center of our ribbon, and then we're going to put this little loopy thing that looks like a bow on the back of our greeting. So now it looks like there's a bow underneath there, but there's no knot underneath there. You got to secure the other side. So we'll grab some dimensionals. We're going to secure the bow to the back of the greeting and then add some more dimensionals. Now we're going to add our greeting to the front of the card. Now's the time to check to see if you got it the right length when you trimmed the tails with the dovetail. I think this one can be trimmed just a little bit so that we don't exceed past the edge of the card. The nice part is we've already got that little dovetail right there that we can follow. Just give it a haircut. All right, our greeting is all ready to go. Let's get our little penguin ready to go. And then our tree. I'm going to put the tree with multi-purpose liquid glue. So add a bit. It's going to kind of have a fun little jaunty angle. You want to burnish it down so that liquid glue sneaks past the snowflake underneath and adheres to the cardstock and paper under there. Then our greeting, so that a little bit of the scallops peek out underneath, so that it goes about the length of the designer series paper. And then our penguin. And that, my friends, is the front of our card. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's get our little orange heart. Pop that on where the center of our knot would be. All right, a little trim for the ribbon. And then we'll be back to embellish with some rhinestone gems at the end. Our inside panel now, we need 2 little penguin friends and a tree. I like you a lot. Let's check the length of our greeting. Pretty good. I'm going to give this one a little haircut so that it doesn't touch the fold on the other side here. Now this one's going to go up a little bit further than the other greeting. It'll make it fold nice and flat. We're going to glue that guy down. We're going to glue the tree down. So I'm going to do those 2 at the same time. Then we'll bring our penguins in and arrange them in just a second. So our little tree, it's going to go at a fun angle, watching that it doesn't cross the fold. And our greeting right up along the bottom of the tree. Don't cross the fold. Cutie cute. Our little heart for the end of that greeting. And our penguin friends. Let's get those guys on. That's our center panel. Looking pretty good so far. Nothing's crossed any of the folds. It's folding nicely. We've got another penguin over here, another greeting, and our tree. Our tree is gonna go at an angle. And then our greeting, let's check the length of it. We want to make sure that we're placing it where it will not show when we close. Perfect. Little liquid glue, so we've got time to scoot it if we need to. Let's see how that works. Good, good, very good. All right, and then our penguin and a little heart. Can you believe it? It's like 3 cards in one. It's definitely an art piece. Something beautiful that your friends will display for a very long time. All right, we're almost there. One last little touch. I've got my rhinestone gems here, basic gems. Let's add a little sparkle, almost like a flurry of snowflakes. I've got, for some reason, so many of this small size, so we're gonna just add kind of a little flurry of these small gems, like a winter sprinkle. There we go. Look at that sparkle between the paper and the gems. Oh my cute. That is definitely to the coolest friend ever. I like you a lot. It's like a little except a lot. If you've got any questions about the project or about the craft social or about our awesome inspiration challenges, we have a different challenge every Thursday. Email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com and to shop 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.